All right, wrestling fans, this is our next contest of Ringside Championship Wrestling Late Night, set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Your referee, Mr. Chuck Poe. Introducing first the team. First, from the Windy City, 6'3", 230 pounds, this is Kid Nikels! And his tag team partner is a third-generation wrestling superstar from Pensacola, Florida. This is 3G Eric Wayne! And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents first. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris O'Neal! His tag team partner from Dyersburg, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, Stan Lee! They're on the team of High Stakes.
Fans, do not adjust your television screens. Yes, indeed, we are taking you back to the summer of 2010 in Ringside Championship Wrestling, back in the days of RCW Late Night Wrestling. For those who have followed us in the past, this was a tag team matchup that was very much talked about. For the fans that saw it live, not talked about by many other fans simply because it never aired on broadcast television until now. Brian Thompson here with you on RCW Ringside Edition TV, and we're happy to bring this matchup going all the way back nearly 8 years. This matchup has been in our vault, our video vault, and kind of we're in a transition period. Matches and action, we're still recovering from last night in Richland, Missouri at RCW Richland Rumble. Brand new action coming to you next time here on RCW Ringside Edition TV, featuring some of the excitement that took place last night. I want to thank all the great fans who came out to Richland, Missouri, the City Gym. Thanks to all the sponsors that helped make that event possible. Certainly a success, and hopefully somewhere down the road we will do it again in Richland. I've got to tip my hat to everybody. The Richland Friends of the Pool, Richland Area Chamber of Commerce, Richland Parks Department. Shout out to Therese, Bo, and Carrie for all their hard work. You can tell I'm a little exhausted. It was a tremendous night, still trying to recover. But in the meantime, while we work on getting that video footage from Richland Rumble uploaded and ready for your consumption here on the RCW Television Network, whether it's Fidelity Local 6, the High Spots Wrestling Network, or YouTube, we're going to go back in time. Now, don't adjust your set. This is in the pre-HD television era, or as HD TV was new, so you're probably seeing a compressed screen. That is not a malfunction of your television or your computer or your tablet. That's just the way this video is, a digital video from back in 2010. I want to talk about the athletes you see in front of you. For longtime RCW fans, and maybe for those of you who have gone back in time and looked at our YouTube page and have noticed the RCW late night broadcast from 2010, you're seeing 4 great young athletes at the time, and they're still young today. They're not old men by any stretch of the imagination, but way earlier in their careers. On the left-hand part of your screen right now, you see a familiar face, 3G at the time, Eric Wayne, a third-generation wrestling superstar. Later, you have seen him on this very broadcast in competition in the Cherry Valley Invitational Tournament. You've seen him wrestle Dangerous Doug Gilbert. Today, he is recognized and known as Dream Killer Eric Wayne. He has control of young man Stan Lee. And now, for the first time on an RCW Ringside Edition TV broadcast, you're seeing a 6'3", 230-plus pound monster from the Windy City, Kid Nikels. Kid Nikels would go on to success in the traditional wrestling promotion. He was known as Killer Nikels there. Later on, he found some success in the early days of WWE NXT under the name Knuckles Madsen. So Nikels, you're seeing he's only at this point just a few years into his wrestling career. He's already starting to make some waves, and he would get noticed by many major wrestling organizations and would go on to some greater success even beyond his early days in Ringside Championship Wrestling. He nails Stan Lee Stan Lee, by many wrestling journalists and experts, regarded as one of probably the best wrestler you may have never seen. If you have not seen him in the Memphis, Jackson, Dyersburg, Tennessee, Western Tennessee part of the country, Stan Lee was very well touted, very well regarded, and certainly a name that fans in that part of the world will remember. And maybe the first time you're seeing him, you'll find out exactly why this young man is very well touted, but he didn't get up high enough, trying to leapfrog up over Kid Nikels. Almost paid for it, took a shot to the midsection, was able to hang tight, and now is wrenching in on a side headlock. His partner, who you don't see at the moment, you will momentarily, Chris O'Neal. Together, Chris O'Neal and Stan Lee were known as High Stakes. A lot of great history. I encourage you to log on to our YouTube page and check out some of the old editions of RCW Late Night Wrestling. Stan Lee, as we mentioned a moment ago, had a tremendous encounter, took up the entire broadcast of an entire episode of RCW Late Night Wrestling when he battled the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony. And those two had a rivalry second to none in the West Tennessee area. This action was recorded in Forest City, Arkansas, great community in the eastern part of the great natural state. We love Arkansas, and of course we love the Show Me State. Most of you, I'm sure, watching this in one of our platforms in Missouri. Stan Lee battling back now against the future, I'll call him, the future dream killer, Eric Wayne, at this moment, of course, referred to as 3G Eric Wayne. Interesting situation at this point in time. Both of these tag teams were popular fan favorites, so you can kind of hear, I'm sure, the crowd reaction throughout this battle. Early on, fans trying to just determine who they want to support. Don't dislike either team. So obviously we all have our fan favorites that we prefer one team over another. So the fans were a little bit confused in the early part of this matchup as to who they might want to side with. And it's kind of one of those things where two teams very well touted that play by the rules are simply here for competition. And we love to see that and love to bring that to you here in Ringside Championship Wrestling all the way back nearly 8 years ago, just like we do today in RCW, and just like we did last night in Richland, Missouri. And man, my heart is still pounding. I'm still excited about all the action. Cannot wait to get the video clear and on the next broadcast right here on Fidelity Local 6, the High Spots Wrestling Network, and RCW YouTube. I think you're going to enjoy what you see. Kid Nikels was almost pinned there. Now you see in the ring Chris O'Neal, mentioned him earlier on. There's a young man, another individual who garnered a lot of success in the Memphis, Tennessee region of professional wrestling.
You can spend 4 years to graduate college, or graduate from Clement Truck Driving Academy with your CDL in 4 weeks. After graduating, you can try to find a job yourself, or use Clement's Job Placement Assistance. The choice is yours.
I'd love to have you as a student. Enroll online or call for a free consultation today.
Bring the action, the excitement, the fan-friendly, family-friendly atmosphere of Ringside Championship Wrestling to your town. Do you have a fundraiser? Do you have a need in your community that we can support and help? Ringside Championship Wrestling is here, and we want to be your partner. Bring all the superstars. We can even bring a legend or two to your town as part of your partnership with Ringside Championship Wrestling. For more details, call or text today, 417-650-6118, and we will hook up with you and bring Ringside Championship Wrestling live to your community for a great cause.
Local makes sense. Lebanon is proud of over 100 years of tradition, blending new and established businesses in our growing and vibrant community. Local makes sense because you support our youth, fire protection, public safety, health, and other services which make our community great. Local makes sense because you support our growing job market, factories, agriculture, retail, and tourism. Live here, play here, work here, stay here. Lebanon, Laclede County, Missouri, where local makes sense.
Nikels trying to wear down O'Neal now, trying to use those, I've often called them in the past, tree trunk-like legs. He's a big old boy, tall individual. Had a lot of success, as mentioned in various later on. I mean, you're kind of seeing him. I think he had about 3-4 years under his belt at this point to go on to be signed by the then WWE Developmental Territory NXT, maybe even wrestled in the precursor in Florida Championship Wrestling. Nikels, he was signed and made everyone in his family proud, everyone that had anything to do with his upbringing as far as professional wrestling is concerned. He made a name for himself, and can look back at even these days in RCW and those days in other promotions and be very, very proud of the career he had. If you're just joining us here on RCW Ringside Edition TV, do not adjust your television set, do not adjust your tablet, do not adjust your phone, or however you're watching this on your laptop or your desktop. You are seeing classic footage from Ringside Championship Wrestling. We are taking you back in time all the way to the year 2010, the summer. A hot night it was in Forest City, Arkansas, a matchup never before seen. This is the first time this match has ever been released in any format. Almost every match in the early days of RCW eventually found some time for television. We either showed clips of a match or for the most part, but some matches didn't air in their entirety. But this is the first time any portion of this match has aired. I know these four athletes were very excited because you'll see why a little bit later on in this matchup. It was a very competitive match as Dream Killer 2B, 3G at the time, Eric Wayne missed the knee and then caught one from Chris O'Neal. And again, if you're just joining us, I want to tell you that both of these teams were liked. They were fan favorites at the time, so it was a unique battle, a sportsmanship, a competitive match, not a situation where you had to worry about one team breaking rules, the other not. Oh, look at that. Eric Wayne knew exactly where he was in the ring. 3G, of course, for those who don't know, or those of you who do know, you understand that means third generation, 3G. Third generation wrestling superstar is Eric Wayne. His grandfather, a famous promoter, his father, a famous wrestler. Grandfather also wrestled, so it was like he came out of the womb almost ready to put on a side headlock to the doctors. So Eric Wayne grew up in professional wrestling, so it was great to see him. At this point, he had had about 4 or 5 years worth of active matches. He had refereed some before that. Actually, I had a chance to be a color commentator and a play-by-play man for All Pro Championship Wrestling in Columbus, Mississippi, when Eric was cutting his teeth as a referee. So I've pretty much been around him almost since day one of his active wrestling career. But as far as wrestling goes, he has been around for a long time, and he knows nothing but this sport. And look out. Great double team right there by the team known as High Stakes. 2 count only, said referee Chuck Poe, and there's a guy. I don't know that Chuck Poe is still refereeing these days, but he was a tremendous official. And we were certainly proud to have him on the Ringside Championship Wrestling roster at this particular point in time. Chris O'Neal continues to put the punishment on Eric Wayne. Wayne, though, you never can count Eric Wayne out of a fight, not then and not now. And here comes the big man from the Windy City, 6'3", 230+ pounds, Kid Nikels, and he is taking control of Chris O'Neal. But hey, don't count O'Neal out. He hasn't backed down from a fight. He shows that he has some power as well. This is a back and forth contest. This is why, one of the reasons why these two tag teams are certainly, I've had conversations with them in recent weeks and said, hey, you know what? You will never believe what we are pulling out of the vault. Never before seen on television, this tag team matchup, and you're watching it, whether you're watching us on the High Spots Wrestling Network or throughout the Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas coverage areas of Fidelity Local 6. We are certainly honored and privileged to have you. And keep in mind, you may be watching a matchup that is nearly 8 years old at this point, but this is just an example of the type of action that you can see on Ringside Championship Wrestling television programming on Ringside Edition TV. And when you see us coming to your town, you see a flyer, you hear an announcement, lock it in on your calendar, plan to be there. Sometimes there's advance tickets, sometimes it's at the door, but be sure to lock in your ticket. The marquee says professional wrestling, and we're going to bring you the absolute top quality that we can bring you, and we're showing you what we did 8 years ago in Northeast Arkansas and Southeast Missouri and Western Tennessee, and now, of course, we're more prevalent in the Southwest Missouri and sometimes Eastern Arkansas area. So change of direction a little bit, but what has not changed is the quality of professional wrestling. Wow, nice shot right there from Chris O'Neal going for a cover. Right there, a lot of great action so far, but I think a mistake was made. Chris O'Neal should have hooked a leg. Should have hooked a leg right there. What a matchup this is. Dream Killer 2B. I keep calling him that. I keep wanting to, at this point, I should just refer to him as 3G Eric Wayne. But you've seen him here. You notice his matchup he had last year against Dangerous Doug Gilbert, main event action at RCW Unfinished Business 2017. Now, wait a minute. Look at this. Oh, sit out power bomb. Well executed by the Dream Killer to be 3G Eric Wayne. Now we're starting to mix it up a little bit. Oh, that was close. Referee Chuck Poe right there to count shoulders down. Not to be. Body scissors being executed now by the Dream Killer. Looking for a submission. Again, in the vault, flashback time. Taking you back to the year 2010. Where were you in 2010? And one thing I do love about this, though, I have been reviewing past footage from RCW as we were uploading the RCW Late Night Wrestling Series to YouTube. Notice a fan in Forest City actually joined us again during 2016 and 17 in Cherry Valley. So there are some long-time RCW wrestling fans out there. And I tell you what, we appreciate each and every one of you. We couldn't do these shows back then. We couldn't be back and being more active in recent years if it weren't for you, the fans. You allow us to do what we do. What we want to do is bring you the type of action you're watching right now, maybe a few years old, but the quality is still there, and this is the type of athlete that we seek out in Ringside Championship Wrestling. Hope to bring more to you in the year 2018. Of course, just finished up a tremendous night of professional wrestling in Richland, Missouri as part of the RCW Richland Rumble. What happened? Who is the winner of the Richland Rumble Invitational Tournament? There's only one way to find out, and that's stay tuned to RCW Ringside Edition TV. In the upcoming months, we will be broadcasting the television programs that were recorded at RCW Richland Rumble for the Ringside Edition TV program. Of course, if you're out there watching and you're seeing this action, you're thinking, man, these guys are great athletes, and they bring great athletes to us nowadays. How can I be a part of it? How can we bring it to our community for our event? Well, I can tell you this. Text or call 417-650-6118, and we will give you the full-blown details on how you can bring Ringside Championship Wrestling to your town, to your community for a great cause. We want to be your tag team partner for a good time, a great evening, a lot of family-friendly, fun entertainment. It's still hard-hitting, though. Make no mistake about that. You see right there was an example of hard-hitting. Nikels got hit hard, but he may hit hard right back here, and this man can deliver a nasty choke slam. No, wait a minute, though. Never count out Stan Lee. Always an innovator, always thinking inside that squared circle. Look for future announcements coming up next time here on RCW Ringside Edition TV. Wow, impressive. Look for future announcements. We're going to tell you about when RCW will be back in live action. Some announcements, some meetings have been held, negotiations are underway, some very, I'll just say this, for lack of a better term, some very cool announcements coming for 2018. And look at Kid Nikels delivering the punishment. Now, if you watched him in his traditional wrestling days, he had a unique manager. Understand Boyd Bradford. There's a name for you. Look him up. Google Boyd Bradford. You'll find more than you probably ever wanted to know about Boyd Bradford, the once manager of Kid Nikels. Kid Nikels kind of went into a deranged time in his life. It was known as Killer Nikels, and it's video footage you just have to see to believe. Nikels was looking for a cover there, looking to put Chris O'Neal away, and O'Neal decided to go to the floor. Now, I can tell you this matchup, we had a 20-minute time limit on it, so getting very dangerously close to lose it. Well, we're narrowing down on the time limit in this particular match. Look out, man! And that's all concrete. Right there, that fan, I just saw a fan. He was in a black t-shirt on the right-hand part of the screen. He was an attendee at RCW in Forest City and then would come back out to Cherry Valley. That's what I like to see the fans, longtime wrestling fans enjoying professional wrestling. There is nothing any better than wrestling when it's done correctly. Hard-hitting, family-friendly, great athletes, competing for pride, competing for championships. Right there, a double pin type of situation was underway, but to no avail on either side. Look at Stan Lee, perched up all the way to the top. That's exactly the type of strategy you have to use when you're in there against a man who is 6'3", 230 pounds, and is in pretty darn good physical condition like Kid Nikels was at this time. And a frog splash attempt to no avail. Both of these teams were really, truly putting it all on the line, and as mentioned, the fans, I think at first were trying to find a team to support, and I think by the end of this match, they realized they want to support both teams because both teams deserve it. This action was seen on KAIT TV8, an ABC affiliate in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And again, we're bringing you never before seen. So that is what, at the time, that is what our RCW Late Night Wrestling television program, that's the station it was broadcast on. But this match never made it to broadcast. And all these great athletes wanted to know, when can I see it? And I said, one day I will pull it out of the vault, and we have pulled this match out of the vault. And again, we're getting dangerously close on time. You've heard some announcements as Eric Wayne double-teamed right there in the center of the ring. Now watch out here. High-risk action from High Stakes as O'Neal takes out Nikels on the floor. Dangerously close on time. Stan Lee, he's perched up all the way on top. Watch out below. Here comes Stan Lee. Takes out Nikels and his tag team partner, Chris O'Neal, in the process. Wait a minute, Eric Wayne, what's he thinking here? Eric Wayne, he's thinking something dangerous here too. Watch out, Wayne. Oh, and the bell sounds. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. At the time, I had no recourse other than to ring the bell.
The time limit on this match has expired. Chuck, 20 minutes are gone. This match is a time limit draw.
A 20-minute time limit draw. These two tag teams went the entire 20-minute distance. And you can see bodies are out. It's like a car crash out on a major interstate. They are laid out all over the place. They gave it literally their all. And I was so proud this night to call all 4-man members of the Ringside Championship Wrestling roster. This is the kind of action you can see when RCW is on the marquee, whether it's in Lebanon, Missouri down the road, or we come back to Richland at some point, or we've been to Cherry Valley, Arkansas the last 2 years. When you see Ringside Championship Wrestling, you know you are seeing the biggest and the best in professional wrestling sports entertainment today. And we're certainly proud to have brought you this particular never-before-seen matchup here on RCW Ringside Edition TV. Referee Chuck Poe. At this point, you're probably hearing my big mouth in the background from the live video. At this time, I was telling the management at the time, the teams wanted to get 5 more minutes so they could have a clear-cut winner. But I think, no doubt about it, in good sportsmanship right here, no doubt about it, the winners this night, in particular in Forest City, Arkansas, were the fans that bought a ticket to see these 4 men put it on the line and bring you top-notch quality professional wrestling as only Ringside Championship Wrestling can bring you. A proud moment for great athletes. I'm proud to have seen them go on to some successes in other places, no question. If it almost gives me the itch to call all these guys up and say, why don't we have a little rematch? We got the blood boiling a little bit just by showing the video on television. Let's do it again. Hey guys, if you hear me out there, give me a phone call. I've been putting my phone number out there for everybody in the world. Give me a call. Now, I like this part right here. These guys realizing, hey, the match is over. We'll live to fight another day. Let's all show each other the proper respect. Each and every one of these guys deserve it. Stan Lee, Chris O'Neill, Kid Nikels, Eric Wayne, a tremendous contest. We thank you for joining us on RCW Ringside Edition TV.
It's been 4 years to graduate college, or graduate from Clement Truck Driving Academy with your CDL in 4 weeks. After graduating, you can try to find a job yourself or use Clement's Job Placement Assistance. The choice is yours.
I'd love to have you as a student. Enroll online or call for a free consultation today.
Local makes sense. Lebanon is proud of over 100 years of tradition, blending new and established businesses in our growing and vibrant community. Local makes sense because you support our youth, fire protection, public safety, health, and other services which make our community great. Local makes sense because you support our growing job market, factories, agriculture, retail, and tourism. Live here, play here, work here, stay here. Lebanon, Laclede County, Missouri, where local makes sense.
Bring the action, the excitement, the fan-friendly, family-friendly atmosphere of Ringside Championship Wrestling to your town. Do you have a fundraiser? Do you have a need in your community that we can support and help? Ringside Championship Wrestling is here, and we want to be your partner. Bring all the superstars. We can even bring a legend or two to your town as part of your partnership with Ringside Championship Wrestling. For more details, call or text today, 417-650-6118, and we will hook up with you and bring Ringside Championship Wrestling live to your community for a great cause.